Hola, mis estudiantes. Here is just a quick guide to pronunciation to help you move along your path to become a better Spanish speaker and to earn those points on your translation presentations. So, I always say that the cornerstone to pronouncing your words correctly in Spanish are your vowels. It's all in the vowels, or mostly all in the vowels. And this is level one stuff. Of course, you know your vowels are A, E, I, O, U. That's how we say them in English, and you guys know that in Spanish we say them A, E, I, O, U. To help you remember to keep these vowels consistent at all times, A is pronounced ah, like you're at the doctor's office. Ah, but it's nice and short. Ah. The letter E is pronounced the way a stereotypical Canadian ends their questions. Are we going to the hockey game tonight? Eh? So it's that sound. The letter I is pronounced like the I in police. E. O always is pronounced like the O in oh my goodness. O. And U's are pronounced like the double O sound in boo. Ooh. You always want to keep your vowels consistent unless they're appearing in a combination that would then change their sound. Okay, let's also talk about some special consonants. What's nice about Spanish and English is that most of our consonants are pronounced very similarly. However, there are some exceptions to this, like H, J, two L's together, the N with the tilde on top or the Nye, the letter V, and the letter Z. Let's talk about how they are pronounced in Spanish. H's in Spanish are silent, totally silent. If you are pronouncing a word with an H in it, totally ignore it. The letter J in Spanish is how they make our H sound. The names Jose and Juan are spelled with J's because that's when they use the H sound. If you see two L's in a row, they do not any longer make an L sound. They make a Y sound. Me llamo, ¿cómo te llamas? They make a Y sound. The letter N, when it has that squiggly on top of it or the tilde to make the Nye, is not pronounced like an N anymore. It's pronounced like an N followed by a Y. The thing that you hit at a party is not a pinata. That's not what the candy falls out from. It is a piñata, that NY sound, sort of like how we pronounce lasagna, NY. Okay, the letter V in Spanish is not pronounced the way we say it in English. It's not like in very, where your teeth hit your lips. It's more of a sound where you keep your lips slightly apart from each other. So if you're conjugating ear, it's sort of like a soft B. You don't want your lips to push against each other like when we say bees either. You don't want it to be like boy. Your lips barely touch each other. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. And the air just passes between them. All right, and the letter Z does not make a buzzing sound like it does in English. You just pronounce it like an S. So, for example, how you say Z in Spanish is Zeta, zeta, not zeta, but zeta. Another thing to tell you if you want to know, some students come to me and say, I can't roll my R's at all. I understand. I used to not be able to roll my R's at all. Now I can just barely do it. I do have some tricks that a college teacher gave me so that I can now roll my R's much more than I used to be able to. But if you're struggling with that, you can say them like a soft letter D. So if you want some exercises to do to help you start rolling your R's, I can give them to you. Otherwise, you can sort of cheat your way through it by pronouncing a soft letter D where you see your double R's. If you want some more information on that, I can help you with that as well. All right, that's all level one stuff, but of course you guys should all be able to perform to a level 2 or higher. So let's talk about letter combinations. All right, if you see AY or AY or AI together, it's always pronounced like I in eyeball. If you see the letters CH together, it's always pronounced like the CH in cha cha cha. Let's talk about the letter C. The letter C can be pronounced a few different ways depending on what vowels it is followed by. If it is followed by A, O, or U, sounds just like the letter K. Ka, ko, ku. If it is followed by UE or UI, you make a KW sound. Que, qui, like in cuenta. You guys remember the cuenta song. And CUI, like the verb cuidar, which means to take care of someone. But if the letter C is followed just by the letters E or I, then they make an S sound. The letter G is similar in the fact that it has a hard sound followed by A, O, or U, and it has a different sound if it's followed by E or I. So the letters G-A, G-O, G-U are pronounced ga, go, gu. So it's like a hard G. If G-E or G-I is in a combination together, then it's pronounced like the letter H, like in gente. G-E-N-T-E is gente, which means people. But if G-U-E or G-U-I are together, we now do not make that W sound. Unlike the C's, which C-U-E and C-U-I make a W sound, these do not. G-U-E is pronounced the way we say ge. G-U-I is pronounced gi. Ge, gi, no W sound. However, if you do have the letter combinations of G-U-A, then you can make the W sound gua, like for gloves in Spanish, guantes. So look at those combinations, refer to them often if you want to pronounce them correctly. Last combinations I want to talk about are when you see Q-U. And much like G-U-E, Q-U-E has no W sound. And just like G-U-I, Q-U-I has no W sound. So Q-U-E is que, like in queso. Q-U-I is qui, like in quien. No W sound. If you want the W sound, it would be spelled with the letter C. So please keep all of this information in mind whenever you have to pronounce things correctly in Spanish.